Donald Trump did an interview on Right Side Broadcasting, and I have a few moments for you, strange as ever. First, and this one got me angry, I'll just show you. He gets asked about the Russia-Ukraine war and has the worst answer.
Seems like it's escalating even to Crimea is even in the question. You've said before on social media and at speeches that you have a solution, and you said, hey, this can be negotiated. How do we do that?
Well, first of all, it should have never started. It would have never started had I been president. There was no chance of this war starting. And frankly, I don't think Putin wanted to do it. I think he was sort of forced in by the statements being made by Biden. And
Trump says that Putin was forced in by Biden. No, that is taking away the agency of Putin. He made the decision to invade Ukraine. That's on him. Biden has acted, I think, correctly in supporting Ukraine in this situation. But this narrative that I've seen from a number of different individuals that, well, maybe the United States is really to blame for this is without merit.
it's something so sad to see, because no matter what happens now, it can never be like it could have been, with nobody dead and with no cities demolished. Because you look at some of these cities, they're absolutely in ashes. This one city, they were flying over it. There was not one building standing. So it should have never, ever happened, but it did happen. With that being said, it can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done from the office of the president. And you have to get them both in a room. And there are things you can say to each one of them, which I won't reveal now, which will guarantee that this war will end immediately. And they have to do it.
So he has something he could say that would, within 24 hours, end the war. Wait, does he want us to believe that he's holding the secret and allowing the war to go on because he doesn't want to just call up Biden and tell him what to do? Now, of course, he doesn't have a secret that could just end the war. And every time we hear this story being told that this never would have happened if Trump was still president, when I'll ask, or others will ask, individuals advocating on behalf of that belief, okay, specifically, what would Trump have done differently? I'm yet to get an answer that is thorough and that is something that actually is based in our understanding of this situation. And then next moment here really shows you the hard-hitting nature of these interviews. Of course, I'm being sarcastic.
Okay, Mr. President, back in 2015, our CEO, Joe Seals, formed Right Side Broadcasting to do nothing but become a platform for you, your rallies. We showed the crowds, we turned the cameras, we did from start to finish. But we only wish everyone was like us. And we think that really the media has not covered you remotely and fairly. They've covered up stories. They didn't cover certain stories. What do you think the media?
Wait, so is he saying, and we'll let Trump respond, but is he saying we were created for you, to do everything on your behalf to make you look the best that you can look, and other media networks aren't fair? We're fair. So you're up front saying we're just propaganda for you, and other networks should be like us. So fair, I guess they're just admitting fair in their mind just means 100% supportive of Trump. All right.
Media is going to be like in 2024? Have they changed at all in the way they cover you?
Well, not only the media, the FBI goes in and tells Twitter, don't cover, and it's misinformation. The laptop was misinformation or disinformation. They use both words, which are pretty much the same when you get right down to it. But what's happened is not even thinkable in our country. The media is fake. It's corrupt. It's bad. Not all of it, but a lot of it, most of it. It's very bad and very dangerous. And it's hard to believe when you think they don't want to have borders. They don't want to have good education. They don't want to have tax.
I am very in favor of good education, and we do have borders. I think actually putting forward real solutions on the issues we're experiencing with our border is valuable. Just vaguely gesturing towards it for political purposes is not valuable. Another example here of the hard-hitting level here.
Incredible to watch. So you need law and order.
Yeah, we all need it. Okay, last weekend you were in Columbia, South Carolina, and after your great leadership segment where you rolled out your team there, you made a stop at a local ice cream business there, and you had a moment where an employee took time and asked if they could pray for you, and she said a small prayer over you and your campaign. How does that make you feel that America is literally praying for your safety and they're praying for this country and that you get back in the White House?
Imagine if that was one of the questions on CNN or something with Obama. Let's say another former president, Obama, comes on and it's just kind of, you're amazing. Actually, that's a bad example. I should say someone running, because Trump's actually running. So it definitely shouldn't just be this softball. You're so amazing and people are praying for you. How does that feel?
Great woman. She said, "May I pray for you?" And I sort of said, "What?" You know, we're standing in the middle of this place, and it was a nice place with a wonderful owner and wife, and very proud of it, and crowded, and there was a lot of love. There was all love. I don't know if you were there.
It was great.
It was all love. There wasn't somebody in the back of the room doing bad things. It was just pure love for the country. And
All right, good. We wouldn't want any people in the back of the room doing bad things. And then finally, getting asked about the issue of crime.
No matter what rights you have, if you don't have the right and you're not comfortable and you don't feel safe, then nothing really else matters. What would be your plan to attack the crime that is out of control in really every American city?
so one thing you have to do is you have to attack drugs. You know, if you look at it, so much of the crime is caused by drugs. You look at some of these people going in and they rob stores with guns and they don't even know where they are. Drugs are a big problem. And we were getting that down to a level that we haven't seen in decades. The other thing is you have to be tough. If somebody's robbing a store, you have to do what's necessary. When you see thugs coming out by the hundreds out of department stores where they're just breaking in and the police are standing there not doing anything, they want to do something, but they're not allowed to. They don't want to lose their job, lose their pension, lose their house and their family.
There are tons of fascinating conversations to have about law enforcement, crime, and how we manage crime. I don't think it's an accurate analysis of the situation to say police officers are just watching robberies and going, we can't do anything. I would love to see an example of that, or I guess I'm happy that I'm not going to see an example of that because hopefully it doesn't exist. But what's fascinating is he said there we had gotten crime down to record lows or whatever, might have gotten it very low. And it reminds me of this narrative I see where when it's Biden and Biden is overseeing certain issues that I see as an aftermath of the pandemic and a response to it and things that had to be dealt with after the pandemic, the right will say, no, those issues are because Biden's horrible. But then they omit the bad parts of Trump's presidency that were caused by the pandemic. So with crime, at the end of Trump's presidency, crime started to shoot up because of the pandemic. That caused a lot of situations that yielded more crime, or an environment that yielded more crime, I should say. And so that, if you're going to say, well, it doesn't matter that the end of Trump's presidency, there was an uptick in crime because it was the pandemic, then you have to recognize almost even more so that a lot of the aftermath type stuff, inflation, crime, is going to be dealt with for a period of time after we actually get past the worst of the pandemic. And that's what Biden's overseeing. Some of those issues being dealt with. Inflation is one of the big ones. And so it's kind of this double standard where with Trump, the pandemic related issues that he oversaw, not a big deal. The crime that started going up in 2020, not a big deal. But once Biden's president, the pandemic related issues are his fault. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the full bonus show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley. Link in the description.